Have you ever stepped into someone's home and immediately felt at ease, like everything in your body just took a deep breath you didn't know you were holding? Some houses do that. They cradle you, they energize you, they seem to quietly attract peace, prosperity, and opportunity. But what if I told you your house could be doing the exact same thing and you just haven't noticed it yet? We often think wealth is created through hard work, strategy, or the right timing. And while all of that matters, there's a deeper layer most people never consider: the energetic signature of the space we live in. Some homes are wired for growth. They amplify the mindset of abundance. They help you sleep better, think clearer, and attract better decisions and relationships. Not because they're bigger, newer, or in a trendy zip code, but because they're aligned with nature, with energy, with you. In today's video, we're going to explore 9 powerful signs that your home might be working behind the scenes to build your wealth, protect your peace, and elevate your entire life. These are not surface-level design tips. They're subtle energetic markers backed by ancient wisdom and supported by modern psychology that signal your house may already be supporting your highest path. If you've been thinking of selling or moving, you might want to hit pause. Because if your home carries even a few of these signs, you could be living inside one of the greatest assets you'll ever own, and not just financially. The question is, can you see it before you walk away from it? Let's dive in. You may never look at your home the same way again. Number 1, you breathe better here. Have you ever noticed how some homes feel easier to breathe in, not just physically, but emotionally? The moment you step through the door, your shoulders drop, your jaw unclenches, you're no longer bracing against the world. Your nervous system starts to settle even before you realize it. That's not just good air quality, it's energetic alignment. It's a sign that your home is actively supporting your well-being in ways most people overlook. You don't need high-end diffusers or fancy ventilation systems to feel this shift. In fact, it has less to do with machines and more to do with what your body intuitively understands: that the space is safe, that it allows you to exhale deeply, fully, and without defense. And this one shift, this simple ability to breathe with ease, is often the first and clearest sign that your home is holding something sacred. In both ancient traditions and modern neuroscience, breath is a bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. When a space helps you breathe more naturally, it's helping you live more fully. And in homes that support prosperity, this feeling isn't random, it's cultivated. Open layouts, natural light, minimal clutter, and intentional placement of objects allow energy to circulate, and in turn, your own energy begins to flow. There's science behind this too. Studies show that clutter increases cortisol, poor lighting affects your mood, disorganization taxes your cognitive load. But when your home helps you breathe better, when it gives your body the signal to relax, it creates the conditions for growth. Your ideas sharpen, your sleep deepens, your decisions improve, you become more available to life, not just surviving it, but creating from it. So if your house feels like a place where you breathe easier, don't take that lightly. That's not something every home offers. That's a message, a gift, and perhaps even a warning. You may already be living inside the most supportive environment your future self could ask for. Don't sell that without listening first. Your body has been trying to tell you it breathes better here for a reason. Listen to it. You might be standing inside a home that's been quietly building your next chapter all along. Number 2, your plants forgive you. Some homes are filled with expensive decor, polished floors, and carefully curated shelves. But there's one sign of prosperity that no designer can fake, and that's when your plants continue to thrive even when you forget to water them. Think about that for a moment. How many times have you missed a day, or several? How often have you rushed out the door, stressed and distracted, only to return and find that the greenery by your window somehow still stands tall, still stretching toward the light, still alive, not because of perfection, but because the energy of your home allows things to recover, to grow, to forgive. That is not normal, that is sacred. In homes where energy stagnates or becomes heavy, even the most robust plants begin to wither. But when life in your space is gently held, when the atmosphere carries softness instead of strain, your plants don't just survive, they bounce back, and that says something deeper than most people realize. A forgiving plant is not just a symbol of resilience. It is a mirror of your environment. It tells you that your home is capable of sustaining growth even through neglect, that life here doesn't collapse under pressure, that the roots, both yours and theirs, have found something solid enough to hold on to. And maybe that's the real wealth, not abundance built on hustle, but quiet regeneration that continues even when you're not at your best. This matters because if your plants can forgive you, so can you. A space that heals itself gives you permission to do the same. It gives you grace, not guilt. It says you didn't fail, you just needed rest, and we kept growing anyway. This is not about gardening skill, it's about the spirit of a home. A home that nurtures life without constant attention is often one that's aligned with the deeper flows of nature. Sunlight that moves gently through the day, air that circulates without dragging, soil that holds moisture a little longer, shelves and corners that don't overwhelm the senses. These things may seem small, but together they create an energy field where things don't have to fight to live. That includes your plants. That includes you. If you've ever looked at a pothos or a fern or a fig tree in your living room and felt a flicker of guilt because you forgot it again, pause. Look again. If it's still growing, still green, still reaching, know that you're in a place that doesn't punish you for being human. It holds space for your process. And in a world that often demands constant output and perfection, that's rare, that's powerful. So before you think about moving on or trading your space for something better, consider what your plants are telling you. If they forgive you, if they keep growing despite the chaos, despite the days you forgot to show up, that may be the clearest message you'll ever get. You are living in a space that's already aligned with recovery, abundance, and quiet strength. Don't overlook that, don't walk away from it too quickly. Some houses look beautiful but drain your energy. But if yours helps things grow even when you're not trying, that's not just lucky. That's home, and that might be the most valuable thing you own. Number 3, people stay longer than they plan. Have you ever noticed that in some houses, guests linger? They sit back into the couch a little deeper. They ask for one more cup of coffee. They start conversations that wander and meander, and before they know it, hours have passed and they don't want to leave. That's not just hospitality, that's not just good lighting or comfortable chairs, that's energy. When people stay longer than they intended, it's because the home speaks to something deeper in them. It says, you're safe here, you're welcome, you don't have to rush. In Feng Shui and energy work, we talk a lot about flow, how energy moves through a space, but flow isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it's silent and still. It's in the way time seems to slow down, the way people's shoulders drop when they enter, the way laughter feels easier. In a home aligned with harmony, guests don't just visit, they soften, they settle. They start to heal even if they don't know why. Think about the last time someone came to your house and stayed longer than expected. Maybe they stopped by for 10 minutes and ended up staying 2 hours. Maybe they said, I don't know what it is about your place, it just feels good. That's not random, that's not a fluke. That's the signature of a house that holds people well, a house with a balanced heart. And that energy, it's rare, it's valuable, you can't buy it. You can't fake it. It comes from the way your space is lived in, the way it holds memory, the way it absorbs and reflects emotion. In houses where the energy is off, people don't linger. They make excuses, they glance at the clock, they stand instead of sitting, they keep their coats on. But in a house with gentle, open energy, people exhale. Conversations go deeper, emotions feel safer, even silence feels okay. That kind of house doesn't just welcome people, it changes them. They leave feeling better than when they arrived. And they always want to come back. This is a quiet but powerful sign of prosperity, because real wealth isn't just about what you own, it's about how your space holds the people you love. A home that encourages presence instead of urgency, stillness instead of stress, is a home that supports connection. And in a culture that's always on the go, always chasing the next thing, a house that invites people to stay is a spiritual oasis. So if your guests lose track of time, if they keep talking even after the meal is done, if they say, I needed this, pay attention. Your home is doing something right. It's not just shelter, it's sanctuary, and that energy is hard to find. You might be tempted to believe it's because of your decor, your playlist, your cooking, but even without all that, people still linger. That's when you know it's deeper. It's not just what's in the home, it's what the home has become. So before you think of selling or moving on, ask yourself, does your house have this gift? Does it hold people so well they forget to leave? That is not something to trade lightly. That is something to honor. Because when a house can hold joy, story, time, and togetherness, it holds wealth of the rarest kind. And if people stay longer than they plan, maybe it's a sign that you should too. Number 4, emotions settle here. Have you ever noticed how some homes seem to hold you, not just house you? It's more than comfort, it's chemistry. You step inside, and without knowing why, your shoulders drop, your breath deepens, the knot in your stomach you've been ignoring all day slowly loosens. That's not just good design, it's emotional safety. And in a world that constantly asks us to be busy, be productive, be fine, walking into a space that simply says, "You're safe here," is a rare kind of luxury. In homes like this, emotions don't get trapped, they get transformed. Anger doesn't echo through the walls, sadness doesn't linger like dust. Instead, emotions move, they breathe, they rise and fall without judgment, and the people living there, they feel it. Children cry and they are comforted. Partners argue, but they also apologize. Guests enter and instinctively exhale, not because they are tired, but because their nervous systems recognize something calming. It's the silent message the house sends: you don't have to armor up here. That emotional atmosphere isn't created by accident. It's built day by day through conversations that were had instead of avoided, through kindness that wasn't withheld even when it wasn't easy, through presence that said, "I see you," even when words failed. Homes absorb these moments like soil absorbs sunlight. Over time, the emotional frequency of the space shifts. It becomes not just a place you return to, but a place that helps you return to yourself. The signs are subtle but unmistakable. People linger longer in homes like this. They speak more gently, they listen more fully, even pets seem calmer and plants more vibrant. Conflict happens, but it doesn't break things, it builds understanding. Silence isn't empty, it's soothing. These are the kinds of houses where people remember birthdays, where the fridge has magnets from places that meant something, where tears have been shed and received. You might not be able to measure it, but you can feel it. And so can everyone who enters. In a space where emotions are allowed to flow, healing happens, growth happens, and over time that energy becomes part of the walls, the furniture, even the air. You'll find that creativity feels easier, sleep comes faster, decisions feel clearer. Why? Because you're not operating in survival mode, you're grounded. Most real estate listings will highlight granite countertops, high ceilings, or a south-facing backyard. But they rarely mention the most valuable trait of all, how a space makes you feel. Emotional wealth is invisible on paper but unmistakable in presence. And when your home holds that kind of resonance, don't take it for granted. If people in your life often stop by just to sit for a bit, if hard conversations somehow unfold more gently at your kitchen table, if your living room feels like a soft landing even on the hardest days, that's not luck, that's emotional architecture. And it's one of the clearest signs that your home is doing more than keeping you warm and dry. It's keeping you whole, so don't overlook it. Don't rush to trade it in for square footage or new construction. A house where emotions can settle is a house where people can heal, connect, and become. That's not just real estate, that's refuge. And if you're fortunate enough to live in one, you're already richer than you think. Number 5, your money stops leaking. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you earn, it just keeps disappearing? As if your money has a mind of its own, drifting away on small expenses, surprise bills, forgotten subscriptions, or impulsive decisions you regret the next day. It's not just about budgeting or bad luck. Sometimes it's about the energy of the space you live in. Because just like your home can hold emotional tension or peace, it can also quietly influence the flow of your finances. In some homes, money seems to slip through the cracks, repairs keep piling up, utility costs rise without explanation, unexpected expenses show up like clockwork, and even your motivation to manage money fades. But in certain homes, something shifts. You begin to notice you're making more thoughtful decisions, you're saving without trying so hard. Opportunities to earn appear more often, and most importantly, you're no longer stuck in survival mode. Your wallet isn't just fuller, your mindset is steadier. That's the power of what we call a wealth-retaining space, a home that doesn't just house you but supports you. And the change often starts with the small, almost invisible things. Cluttered drawers that finally get cleared, broken objects that quietly drained your attention but are now repaired or released. A leaky faucet that used to waste more than water. When you begin to treat your home as a container for energy, not just stuff, you stop leaking money because you stop leaking focus, time, and self-worth. In homes like this, the people who live there often report that their financial anxiety lessens even if their income doesn't change overnight. Why? Because money doesn't just flow through numbers. It flows through decisions, emotions, and environments. And a house that holds financial steadiness feels very different. Bills are paid on time, investments feel less overwhelming, Even your spending becomes more intentional. It's not about deprivation, it's about discernment. You stop buying for validation and start buying for alignment. You stop chasing and start attracting. And while this might sound spiritual, it's deeply practical. When your home is energetically supportive, you're less distracted, you're clearer, you're more confident. And confident people make better money decisions. That's the quiet shift most people don't notice until it's already happening. Suddenly, you're not afraid to check your bank balance. You're remembering to negotiate better deals, cancel things you don't use, and pursue income you once felt unworthy of. Even your conversations about money become healthier, less shame, more curiosity. Your space becomes a financial partner, not a silent saboteur. So if you've ever lived in a place where money always felt tight and now you find yourself breathing easier, not because you won the lottery, but because you stopped leaking your power, pay attention. That's not accidental. That's your house holding wealth energy. And in a world where financial stress is the leading cause of anxiety, living in a home that supports financial calm is a gift beyond measure. Don't ignore the signs. If your money feels safer, stronger, and steadier in your current home, even without a drastic change in income, that's not just comfort, that's alignment. That's energy working with you, not against you. And it might be the clearest sign of all that you're living somewhere special. A place where your efforts multiply instead of disappear. A place that protects your prosperity. And a place worth staying. Number 6. Coincidences keep happening. There's a different kind of rhythm some homes carry, a quiet alignment you can't quite explain. You think about an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, and that same day they email you. You've been wrestling with a decision, and suddenly a podcast, a bumper sticker, or a random quote drops the exact clarity you needed. People call them coincidences, but when they begin happening regularly inside one space, something bigger is at play. It's not superstition. It's not fantasy, it's resonance. Certain homes seem to hum at a frequency that syncs effortlessly with your own. The air feels clear, your thoughts land differently, you begin to notice patterns you'd normally miss. And in that stillness, small nudges turn into big outcomes. Maybe you move a chair without knowing why, and suddenly your sleep improves. You light a candle one evening, and the conversation that follows shifts an entire relationship. Or maybe you start placing your keys in a new spot, and suddenly your mornings feel lighter, more intentional, less rushed. These aren't just lucky breaks. These are signals, feedback from an environment that's not just holding your life, but supporting your growth. According to Feng Shui, when energy is clean, intentional, and flowing without resistance, life starts showing up differently. Ideas arrive faster. People align easier. The path forward feels less like pushing a boulder and more like catching a current. A home like that doesn't just shelter you, it guides you. It listens, reflects, and quietly co-creates your next move. That's why synchronicity becomes more frequent in certain spaces. They've been tended to. They're not clogged with stagnant energy. The walls aren't carrying unresolved tension. And because of that, you're more receptive. Your awareness sharpens. Your choices begin to match your desires instead of your fears. What once felt like random luck becomes repeatable alignment. That's the kind of home you don't leave lightly. Because in a world that constantly distracts and disconnects, a space that amplifies clarity and flow is rare. It's sacred. So if lately your life has felt unusually in sync, if the right people are appearing, the right answers are landing, and your timing just feels different, pause before thinking about starting over somewhere else. That alignment isn't guaranteed to follow you. It's rooted in the space that helped unlock it. And maybe, just maybe, that space is trying to tell you, you're in the right place, stay a little longer, the next step is already on its way. When coincidence becomes a pattern, trust it, because you're not chasing signs anymore, you're living inside of one. Number 7. Kids and pets always pick the same spot. Some truths don't need to be taught, they just show up in the most innocent ways. Watch a child enter a room they've never seen before, no hesitation, no analysis. They go straight to the spot that feels right, the corner bathed in sunlight, the armchair by the window, the patch of carpet where the air feels softer. Now watch the family dog. Out of every square foot available, they curl up in that same exact place. Day after day, no command, no cue, they simply know. And they return to it because something there feels safe, warm, undisturbed. That's not random, that's energy, clear, settled, balanced. In Feng Shui and energy awareness practices, there's a belief that animals and children are the most honest readers of a home's vibration. They aren't clouded by logic or decor. They respond to how a space makes them feel. When the same spot keeps drawing them in, it means the home is holding space well. It's nurturing, not draining, alive, not stale. And when that energy is working, people feel it, even if they can't explain why. You've likely seen it in your own life. The toddler who insists on reading in the same corner, the cat who sleeps next to the same plant, the grandkid who always drags their blanket to the same patch of floor every time they visit. These behaviors are intuitive. They're evidence that the space is doing what it's meant to do, supporting rest, grounding emotions, encouraging calm. Now ask yourself why that spot. It's not the prettiest chair, it's not the coziest blanket, it's the feeling, the sensation of peace, stability, an energetic invitation that says, you're safe here, you can exhale. In homes where the energy is scattered or heavy, kids don't settle, pets pace or avoid certain areas. But in homes that breathe well, flow well, and protect well, you see it in their behavior. They return to the same spaces, they trust those corners, and that's a powerful signal you shouldn't ignore. So if you've ever noticed your child or your pet always gravitating toward a specific place in your home, pay attention. They're showing you where your energy is most aligned. That space is doing something right. And the home that naturally offers that kind of refuge isn't just lucky, it's rare. Because while design can be carpet and furniture replaced, a home that instinctively makes its youngest and most honest visitors feel safe, that's irreplaceable and worth holding onto. Number 8, moving out feels wrong sometimes. Logic says go, but your body says stay. You might walk through your home one last time, keys in hand, ready to start a new chapter. And yet something pulls at you, not guilt, not fear, just stillness. A quiet knowing in your chest that says this isn't finished. That's not sentimentality, it's energetic attachment, and it's real. Because when a house truly supports you, when it's been a container for your growth, your healing, your quiet victories, it doesn't just let go overnight. You feel it in the walls, in the air, in the places where your breath deepened, where your laughter echoed. You feel it in the corner where you stood to cry and somehow felt comforted. You feel it in the memories, yes, but also in something deeper, alignment. Feng Shui teaches that when a space fully aligns with your energy, it becomes more than a shelter. It becomes a partner in your life's unfolding. And the longer that partnership works, the harder it is to walk away. People often say, I can't explain it, I just feel like I'm supposed to stay. And they're right, that feeling is guidance, not nostalgia, not fear of change, but a signal that the energy in the home still matches your purpose. And when your environment and your purpose are synchronized, moving prematurely can interrupt flow in finances, in relationships, in clarity. You might even notice resistance in the move itself. Buyers fall through. Closing dates shift. You can't find a place that feels right. Those aren't just coincidences, they're clues. Your house may still be holding something sacred for you, a lesson, a transition, a gift not yet received. And until that energy is complete, your nervous system pushes back, it delays, it hesitates, it says not yet. And that pause deserves respect. So if you're planning a move but can't shake the feeling that something's off, listen. Not all delays are problems. Some are protection, some are timing, and some are reminders that your home isn't just a place you live, it's a space that lives with you. If leaving feels wrong, don't force it. Stay, breathe, listen. Because sometimes the very thing you're rushing to find elsewhere is already right under your feet. Number 9, you've started dreaming again. There's something powerful about the kind of rest that doesn't just restore your body, but reawakens your spirit. In certain homes, you don't just sleep, you dream. Not just in the unconscious, eyes-closed way, but in the full, wide-awake kind of dreaming. The kind where ideas come back, hope returns, and possibility starts to feel real again. You begin to imagine a version of your life that's more aligned, more open, more joyful. And slowly, your inner compass recalibrates, not from fear, but from inspiration. That's a sign, a big one, because when a home is energetically aligned, it doesn't just hold your past, it starts activating your future. You feel safe enough to envision again, safe enough to wonder, to ask big questions, to sketch out next chapters. In Feng Shui, this is the energy of creative rebirth, the moment when stagnation lifts and your environment starts reflecting not who you've been, but who you're becoming. You don't need a vision board or a mastermind group. Sometimes all it takes is being in a space that believes in you even before you believe in yourself. People often dismiss this as coincidence. I just started feeling more motivated lately. But it's rarely random. The house you're in now may be helping to shift you out of survival mode and into a space of vision, of clarity, of creation. You're no longer weighed down by low vibration, cluttered energy, or invisible pressure. You wake up lighter, you go to bed clearer, and in between you start to remember dreams you thought you'd buried, and maybe that's the truest sign of all, that this isn't just a house worth staying in. It's a house that wants more for you, not just comfort, not just safety, but expansion, growth, purpose. When you begin dreaming again, it's not a fluke. It's the house whispering, you're not done here. There's still more life for you to live, right here, right now. And that kind of energy, that's not easy to replace. So if your home is helping you remember who you are, stay a little longer. It might just be the most valuable thing you own. So what does it all come down to? Not superstition, not magical thinking, not some mystical checklist you tape to your fridge. It comes down to resonance, to alignment, to how your body, mind, and spirit respond to the space you live in, whether it contracts your breath or lets you exhale, whether it dulls your senses or wakes up your soul. Each of these 9 signs isn't about luck. They're about energy, the way air moves, the way light lands, the way memories linger or fade. And while modern science may not always use words like chi or flow, it does confirm that our surroundings impact everything. Our cortisol levels, our heart rate variability, our sleep cycles, our decision-making, even our immune response. The home you live in isn't just where you put your things. It's where your nervous system recalibrates every single day. So when your body relaxes in a certain room, when coincidences increase, when you feel emotionally clearer, or when children instinctively gather in one specific corner, it's not random. It's information. It's your space communicating back to you. And if you've started dreaming again, really dreaming, that's not just nostalgia. That's your inner compass activating, sensing that your environment is no longer pulling you backward. It's gently nudging you forward. We often think we need to move to find a better life, a better city, a bigger opportunity. But sometimes the greatest wealth is already under your feet. It just hasn't been named yet. Your house might not be flashy or on trend, but if it breathes with you, heals you, reflects you, and gently shapes your future, that's more than a home. That's a partner. Don't sell that. Stay with it. Water it. Listen to it. Let it keep growing with you. Because prosperity doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just whispers, you're already home. And when you learn to hear it, you'll realize this house wasn't just a place to live. It was your greatest investment all along, not just in property, but in possibility, in peace, in you.